Hello. For those of you curious of what you were looking at, was my fruit bowl of fruit. Guantanamera, of course. I know. I have to apologize for my tardiness. I was just late. Sorry. I don't like to make excuses, and yeah, I was just late. So, yeah, I'm very sorry about that. But then the song was on. How can you not dance a little bit? Thank you, Anna. I thought that was a wig of some kind. Yeah, and I'm shaved. I know. Believe it or not, I had an audition that required me to shave. So now I'm shaved, and I'm not a fan. Many of you may recognize this t-shirt. It is actually the shirt that I wore in the show, believe it or not. And I actually gave it to Tessa. So technically I'm wearing Tessa's shirt. But, yeah. So what are you guys reading in the book club? So, in this book club right now, thank you for asking. Blame it on the traffic. Team Beard is out and crying. No, it's coming back. I'm not shaving again. So it's okay. Did I get the part? Haven't heard anything yet. So I shaved. No, I'm kidding. It was this week. I won't find out for a bit. So I just needed to shave. So yes. So sorry. Back to topic. You who asked. I forgot who it was. What we are reading right now in this amazing book club of ours. We are reading A Brief History in Time by Stephen Hawking. And I have to say that the further we read in this book, the further and more I am amazed by the capacity of the human mind. Not mine, particularly, but that it's out there that people can think like this. It blows my mind. I mean, what type of thinking? And then how do you have to think in order to say, I mean, just the idea of black holes, to come up with that? Like, why would you think that if a star started to collapse on itself, eventually it would reach this, it would be, I don't know. Right? Am I wrong? Not shaving anymore, let's get the part. Rita, I like the way you think. I've got the book, haven't finished it. All good, we haven't finished yet either. I'm actually, I'm not only late, but I'm a chapter behind. So I said read to chapter 8, I only read to chapter 7. So, don't worry about it. This book club is very, very freeform. See what I did there? Very chill. Is anyone else frustrated because we can't go to the library? Like, I rely on it to get books because I'm in college and broke. No, I agree that I think the library, I mean, there are two thoughts. Should it be considered essential? I mean, yes, but at the same time, I feel like people would then congregate at libraries, and I don't know, because it would be a nice place to sit. I don't know. I understand your frustration, and I apologize you have to deal with this. The fact that I think the same thing, the human brain is magnificent. Not mine particularly, but the other one. I don't know if you saw my tweet, but you were thinking it might be good for you and Cammy to join Kessie to send videos. People feel bad at this time and help them. Oh, thank you. I'll look into that. I have to talk to my team about that. How am I doing? Thank you for asking. How am I doing this week? I'm doing really well. I've got a Fumba class to go to later. Annie Hansen. It's a Fumba class that my cousin is running, which is a freestyle Zumba. It's more of a joke class, like not joke, like the class itself. It's more of him just with his friend, and they're going to dance around and have people watch them on Zoom, essentially. And that's why they're calling it a Fumba class. So he wanted me to watch, and he's making it a drinking game. So that's what I have planned for later. Other than that, I don't know. The comparison to a balloon is quite interesting, right? And also the comparison to a balloon made me not completely, but made me understand it then. I was like, oh, okay. That makes sense. That idea that the energy, it's holding itself like that. But then that also made me understand when it would go. I admire authors so much. They're so creative. Like, where do they think things up? For instance, Clinch Claire. So awesome. I agree. Qué lindo verte. Well, gracias por venir. I thought it was a crazy concept. That is true. Honestly, it's just so captivating. The human brain is magnificent, but nature and all the things talk, my mind is blown. Well, my biggest thing is like, I don't know about you, but in elementary school, I understood a lot of things, I guess the way we're taught. Every country, state, even every state every state has its own education curriculum. But I don't know, just some of these concepts blows my mind. And it's funny that even as a kid, I thought some things were deemed to be not 100% true, but like, just that's what we believed. And then now I'm reading that these beliefs were expanded upon and changed and grown, and they say they were right, but about the wrong things. They were right that this happens, and because of that, they didn't realize that this happens. And then this continues this way, and he goes, but they had no idea because they were thinking only on this line. And it's just, it shows the necessity of other people, how much people learn from each other, but then it also just like, I don't know, it's been pretty cool. Makes me feel small. Yeah. Me and my friend keep on having the same argument about this. Okay. Jem or Will. I haven't read those with Jem and Will. I think in the last book we're introduced to Jem, but I'm trying to figure out how. Well, I think we have different missions in life, right? Some people, their missions are to discover the origins and inner workings of a black hole, and others, it's what type of coffee do we want today? Everyone has their own journey. Yeah, this book I've realized is very important to read, take a break, read. And don't do what I've been doing, which has been trying to read all of it in one, because then you find yourself having read multiple pages where you're like, wait, what? And then the decision comes about reread. So yeah, read, take a break, think. So we're going to read this one a little slower, as you guys have been noticing. Okay, Kelly J. McKeens. Sorry if I said your last name wrong, Kelly. It is The Library at Mount Char. The Library at Mount Char. People all good here, thank you for checking in. About to go play. Well, Rita, thank you for stopping by. We'll see you next time. I'm glad to know you're doing well, yes. Examples so we can actually understand that he's trying to tell us. That's how I usually get what he's saying. I literally read paragraphs until he goes, so basically what that means is this. And I'm like, oh, okay. I have one example of that. What about the duality between waves and particles? How there was a theory at times where they thought of particles and waves, and then everyone's like, no, it's just waves. And then they're like, no, actually, they were way right back then. It's waves and particles. And that's how they were able to just like, I think I ask other questions of the universe. Oh, you're reading Library of Mount Char? Awesome. I'm actually thinking of making it, because I want to reread it, I'm thinking of making it like the first book we read next season. So if you haven't read it or are thinking of waiting to read it, we might read it together. So, but if you haven't, if you're reading it now, hell yes. I'm sorry, I'm reading comments, if that's okay with everyone. Might not be that exciting. What is the name of your friend you said last time, the violinist? Her name is Delaney Harder. Crazy girl for life. Delaney Harder. Harter. I think you can find her on Instagram. Oh, remind me, guys, I have, this isn't going to be a full hour live because we didn't read as much, and because, as you guys know, I can't teach and or explain a lot of these theoretical concepts, so we can discuss how we feel about them, maybe some questions that we have, and then if that's okay with you guys. I love that we're reading something that's so vastly different from pretty much everything we've read so far. And that's what's important. And that's why I chose a book that maybe we will understand 5-10% of, if more, awesome, if less, it's okay. Just to kind of get our mind thinking in that different way. That's why, just on another rant, that's actually what I was told why we learn math and science and other things, to allow our mind to learn other ways of working out problems. So this is a good way to expand our mind. Theory of Everything. Yeah, I need to watch that movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I'll reading two Stevens. Good stuff, Anna Catherine Hernandez. I'm trying to read books that are a bit more challenging to read because I feel like I don't want to limit myself. Excited to spend time to dig deep on this one. Yes, Crystal. It is an exciting book. It's cool. I have to say, I'm having a hard time grasping certain concepts. I'm much more of a visual learner than auditory, so reading, even like in school when I read, I'd have to like read and then try to like map it for myself or draw stuff, or I'm a visual person. I'm actually kind of both. If they happen at the same time, that's ideal, right? The spaghetti astronaut. Also, when he was describing the idea of... Hold on. Let me get to this, because this was cool. I can't remember what I was looking for because I couldn't find it fast enough. That's not good. No, you're good, Annie. We just started. Not just. Well, kind of just. We just started. You're good. Really, duality, waves, and particles was your favorite topic in high school? You were talking about this type of stuff in high school? I don't know, I was worried about football practice. That's incredible. You're good, Annie. We just started. We could all together, it'd be amazing. Ooh, I'm really behind. Sorry, guys. Let me catch up. Yes, Catastrophe. Oh, cool. The book written by Scott Hawkins is The Library at Mount Char. Yeah, we probably can get a good discussion when we have a full understanding. Oh, I remember what I wanted to talk about. It was with like the rotations of things and how they were like, how playing it reverse would be the same as playing it in forward if you were, I don't know, I can't really remember it now, but that whole idea made sense when he got to the end of it for me. When he was like, so the only way this would work is if antimatter is turning into matter. If you're moving time backwards, if time normally moves forward, if you move times backwards, and all the matter is getting turned into that whole thing made complete sense. And I was like, oh, how did they not think of that in the beginning? Because to me that makes sense. But it's interesting to read about these things that normally when we learn about them in school, we learn about the person who made the final discovery, right? We didn't learn about the guy that made the discovery because of the guy that made the discovery, that therefore let the final guy make that discovery because he was standing on the shoulders of all the other scientists before him. It's truly an amazing thing. It's like science is this thing where people keep getting to like look over a wall until they realize that that wall's not that tall. And then they need someone else to climb up on their shoulders to look over the next wall. It's pretty cool. Amy Lumsden, it's okay if you're struggling to understand it. Me too. It's okay. Well, I'm getting through it, though. Lexi, I have not checked out Brian Cox yet. That's what I'm going to do this week. So thank you, but not yet. Sorry. Everything I really like. Even though I really like maths and physics, I don't really read books like this. But I think we should change that and read much more like this, because there's so much around us that we don't know. And I agree, I don't know XO 101. I agree. Wait, Annie Hansen, did you get a puppy? Lucky? I've been trying to convince Tessa to get another kitten. But then we both are like, okay, we could convince each other, but we can't convince Stella. Like, Stella probably wouldn't like it. That's awesome. Buddy of mine just got a dog, actually. Anyone in Britain will be able to see the Lyrid meteor shower. Really? What time is that supposed to start, the Lyrid meteor shower? For all of the people in Britain. That's pretty cool. I would want to check that out if I were you. There is a version of the book, A Short History Through Time, with many pictures that describes what the author meant. Is there really? Steffi Voigt 99, can you message Rosende Reads that version, like a picture of it or something? Thank you, Jordana. A Brief History in Time. So do I think a fourth dimension exists? I believe there are like 10 dimensions, right? That's what the theory is with that. Well, not theory, because it's not as scientific. But yeah, I believe that there are many dimensions. For sure. All occupying the same space, but because they exist on a different plane, they can. Yeah, but I do. Right? I mean, to me, this type of stuff sounds like magic. Like, how is that even possible? Yes, and I agree. I think that's something we can touch on. One of the cool things Stephen Hawking is doing is he's telling us how everything started. All of the theories, he's giving everyone the credit to say, look, it's not like one person's like, I figured everything out. It's like one person uses everyone else to then keep putting this puzzle together that is the universe that we're living in. How it's built, what rules make it, what laws govern how things change and grow and die and evolve. And it's just, like, when you think of it like that, I find it absolutely fascinating. Just my mind doesn't seem to be the type of mind that can wrap itself around stuff like that. And I think that's another really cool thing, is when we, as a world, can understand that different people are this is like the proof that they're not the proof. I'm rambling. Yes, I've watched Interstellar. Neat, a meteor shower. I know. I read about Hawking's theory on black holes in his last paper before the live. It was interesting, and I definitely understood it better. Okay. I would definitely do that. The multiverse theory. Don't even get me started on that. Like Rick and Morty, Spider-Man. So viewing of the Lyrid meteor shower is late Tuesday night to just before dawn on Wednesday, but it should be visible from around a couple hours after sundown. Wow, that's really cool. No, Thina, I completely agree. I need to read things a couple of times to understand, or even kind of pretend like I read it enough to understand it. I was like, yeah, I understood that. I can keep going. Sure, it'll make sense later. I find myself doing that a lot with this book. I don't know about you guys. I haven't seen the movie That Red Man yet. Okay, QED by Richard Feynman may also be a good book for us. Scientific, but I think easier language. Thank you. I will look at that, Annie. Found Delaney, thank you. Did you read The Universe in a Nutshell? I did not. Oh, if everyone can remind me that I have news at the end of the live. So in like 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes or so, if you guys can remind me, that would be great. Do I watch films in Spanish? Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. I actually saw this incredible this incredible Cuban film called Julie, about this famous ballet dancer named Carlos. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his last name. Carlos something. But Julie, if you haven't seen it, incredible Cuban film about a ballet dancer and his life in Cuba. And incredible movie. Yes, I have news, but in 20 minutes. It's good news in 20 minutes. We'll talk about it in 20 minutes. Any quotes? Let's just bring up quotes now. Any quotes that you guys have had? Feynman is a super interesting character too. He questions authority a lot in such amazing ways of looking at life. Okay, cool. I just think this is interesting. Black holes are one of only a fairly small number of cases in the history of science in which a theory was developed in great detail as a mathematical model before there was any evidence from observations that it was correct. So all of their theory is based on math and just understanding. Like, well, if A plus B equals C and C plus D equals E, that means A plus C should equal E. Like, things like, I'm like, how? My mind doesn't work like that. Having quotes would mean you have to remember a whole sentence. Correct. Tell them my favorite quote. I'm with Annie on this one. I was hoping you guys had one. Because energy cannot be created out of nothing. Basic, but love it. Love that. That's what makes physics so great. At times I wish I could just ask Stephen Hawking himself what he meant, but sadly I cannot, that he is gone. True genius. Yes. If you love a flower, don't pick it. Love is about appreciation. That's all I got. Is that from the book? So anything mathematically correct could be real? Less of a quote, more just how sad it was that Chandrasekhar dropped his line of research due to peer pressure. Yes. But I love that he still gets credit for that line of research, that he's like, yeah, he was right. Other people, think about that, other people might be the ones that tell you you're wrong. But he was like, yo, I don't know, I still think that's cool. If a star is too big, how should it know to get smaller? Well, that's just cool because it's based on the energy that it has and the fuel. And then when the fuel's running out to sustain that, it starts to get smaller. Like, to me, that makes sense. It's like it's a balloon. Eventually, the balloon starts to leak air and get smaller, except this time the forces aren't just air leaking out of the balloon. It's compacting it to density, which I think is another thing. You felt bad about the hypothetical astronaut that got stuck in the black hole? I felt a little bad. Anything or anyone who falls through the event horizon will soon reach the region of infinite density and the end of time. Also, Professor Hawking's motives for his 1972 paper was his irritation at Bekenstein for using his research the wrong way. I like that he admits it, though. Of course. Black holes are a theory developed before there was any evidence. So what if the theory itself created them? What if they didn't exist before someone thought of them? Wait. The 7G, you can't just bring up a concept called spaghettification and then not tell me what it is. Is it that astronaut? Is that what it is? That idea? Am I more interested in the microscopic world or the limitless universe? But based on what he's saying here, they're the same. My understanding, the microscopic world gets so small that the space in between things are just as vast as the space in between stars. Comparatively, of course. Spaghettification. Don't know what it is? I'd love to know more. Right, what we read in the book. Your theory, because of the pressure, so eventually you just spread out like that and tear you apart. I wonder how that would... Oh, did you guys see the pictures of the black holes that were taken last year with a breakthrough? That's right, there was a huge breakthrough with black holes. Diego and I talked about it. And he goes like, time travel is cool for science fiction writers, but you wouldn't be safe if someone travels to the past. Oh, but that also creates, like, what do they say? A paradox. Time travel to the past creates a paradox, because how could you exist in a space that you never existed? Spaghettification. Imagine that being like a serious talk in like a physics lecture class where they're like, all right, today we will be talking about spaghettification and its effects and the theoretical possibilities of such. As what preference do you become? What type of spaghetti do you become? A wine tasting reading club. This is dangerous, Jordana. I feel like it will just become a wine club. You need to see the link I post on Twitter on Rosende Reads Community to see what NASA took in the pic for my birthday, and it's amazing. Maddie McCall, tweet me that again. I'm going to look at it. Oh my gosh, you guys are doing a wine book club. I should have thought of it first. Okay, also say this chapter was the most difficult for me to understand. Elementary particles and the forces of nature. That one was difficult. Because I think it's fascinating. I was taught that atoms were the building block. I didn't even realize that there were, all the other ones. Like quarks and I don't know, just incredible. Chapter 6, what was the title of chapter 6? Black holes. To me, black holes was so much easier to get through because I was fascinated and the concept felt more understandable rather than further breaking down these smaller and smaller particles and then how they were able to get to that idea using light and other things to get, like, well, if this happened and we saw this, that means it has to be something else building that up. And that means and just the way it keeps going, it's almost like in the library at Mount Char, that book, there's a concept brought up that no matter how many answers you get, the answers then will only lead to more questions. So it's like you can never actually get to the bottom of it. It's just a never-ending rabbit hole. The fact that Stephen Hawking can write a book about something so understandable and so difficult to understand and make it understandable is intriguing and amazing. Well, that's what Einstein said. Einstein was like, you know that you really understand a subject if you can teach it to a 7-year-old, or if you can explain it to a 7-year-old. Phoebe says they thought the atom was the smallest thing until they opened it up and a whole mess of crap fell out of it. So questions and answers like a catch-me. Yeah, you need more questions to get more answers, but the more answers you get, the more questions you have. But then the more questions you have, the more answers you get. But that only makes you have more questions. Weird cycle. Einstein knows what's up. Well, that's the thing. Tesla was explaining the idea of what scientists think. Tesla's a scientist herself. But she was explaining that scientists really don't ever really accept truth. They only really accept what they can prove wrong. So they're like, we know it's true that this can't happen. So it's interesting that you say that Hawking spent like the first half of his life developing a theory only to spend the second half of his life trying to prove it wrong. Because in every attempt to prove it wrong, it does make it seem, okay, well, at least we know that it holds up here, and it holds up here, and it holds up here. And that's one of the things that I think is interesting about the theory of relativity, that they're like, it holds up here, but it doesn't hold up here, but it holds up here. So we know that there's something there. Now it's just trying to get that quantum theory. It's fascinating. You guys know that gravitational waves detected by the Eagle in 2015. What about them? Okay, all right, we have about 5-10 minutes left. So the news that we have, I was talking to Diego, and we were looking at our past project together. And because of all the time we've had, we figured out we are officially going to be releasing the American Identity Project on May 1st. We are putting out the documentary that we made with each other 3 or 4 years ago. We're going to put it out on May 1st for everyone. It's going to be, I think it's going to be up on Vimeo. We will have more news as to where and when and what time with you. It will be a live watch party. Yeah, we'll make it work, but it will come out on May 1st. So just know that it's very exciting. We're also going to have the merch store open up again for like the posters and shirts we have. We have a limited quality, but that'll be available for everyone to do that again. It's pretty exciting, and I'll tell you this, I executive produced it, so Diego came to me with the idea, and then I helped him make it happen, so that then he went on with his 3 other filmmakers to make the film, and then we came together. And then pretty much Diego and our editors and stuff put together this film. I saw it a few months ago, and then I saw it recently, and I'm very, very proud of it. Very, very proud of it. A limited quantity. Sorry, Annie. Thank you. So it's pretty exciting. And I'm excited to finally share it with you guys. I think now is a time when it can can really help. And what the goal with the film was just to capture a moment in time, to garner some sort of understanding as to what it means to be an American. And I really think we did that. I'm really excited about it. So I don't want to talk too much about it. And yes, you will pay for it, but it'll be like $2. So and I think there'll be a purchase to rent. There'll be an option to rent it for like that one viewing or to buy it. More details will come later this week. But May 1st, we're both very excited. It's gonna be cool. Yeah, so tell everyone you want. It's going to be cool. We'll be posting more about it as it comes. We'll have a trailer come out before then as well. Now the ball will really start rolling over the next 2 weeks while we start to amp it up. We'll talk more about it. But yeah, so like I said, we'll probably do a live on Wednesday again, just to kind of catch up on my regular Instagram. And that Wednesday live will have more information as to what's going to happen with the American Identity Project. So be on the lookout for it. Be on the lookout for that live on Wednesday on my regular Instagram. We will continue reading A Brief History in Time, obviously. And we were supposed to stop at the origin and fate of the universe. Let's only read We're going to do this in 2 more weeks. So, we're going to read up to chapter 10, Wormholes and Time Travel. Don't read past chapter 10. I realize that that's not a lot, but I really want us to take our time and not feel like we have to rush through it. I want us to be able to take it in small little bites. Will Diego be there for the release part? Absolutely. Can't we do the live here? Annie, I want to, but then no, it just feels like I should connect with everyone. I could do 2 lives. I could do a live there, and then we could do another live on Rosende Reads right after it, if you want. So up to chapter 10, I'll do lives on Wednesday, one with my regular Instagram, that's Alberto Rosende, and then I'll do one right after for Rosende Reads. It might be shorter, but I'll promise you that so we can have our own talk. So that's the plan. I will see you guys on Wednesday. We will read up to chapter 10 for Sunday again, and then we'll finish the book the following week, and then we'll start in cold blood. Thank you guys for joining. I recognize that this book is a little more difficult, and the last couple books maybe, but that's okay. We're growing together. So continue reading, continue learning, continue exploring, continue questioning things, continue being creative, continue getting your mind blown by the universe and its amazing possibilities, and continue being positive forces of change in your communities. It's very important right now that we all remain hopeful and that we remain, in connection with the people around us, especially in times like this. So thank you for your kindnesses, and I will see you guys on Wednesday and then Sunday to talk more about this crazy book. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. I guess it doesn't matter, but enjoy your Sundays with your family and friends, and hopefully you're all staying home and safe. So with whoever you're quarantining with. But yes, I will see you guys soon. Have a great Sunday. Bye, guys.